It's All-Star Week for the Charles Johnson Summer League here in the Caribbean Baseball Organization. And today, joining me here on CBO-TV is part-time color commentator and assistant coach of the Cobras, Antonio Aponte. And we're going to be discussing the pregame for the All-Star game for the Charles Johnson Summer League. So, we're going to be talking about a couple things, how the season has been going so far in the Charles Johnson Summer League. We'll be going over those selected into the All-Star game, and actually Antonio himself, he'll talk a little bit about that as we get later into the video, and we'll be discussing the format of the All-Star game, what's going to be going on, and everything around it. So without any further ado, let's begin by talking about the season so far. So I'm going to pull up the standings so far for the Charles Johnson Summer League. And here it goes. So currently the top seed goes to the Beach Bums with an 11-4 record, followed by the Panthers with an 11-5 record, the Pembroke Pine Panthers. Then you got, Antonio's own Fort Lauderdale Cobras with an 8-7-1 record, followed by the South Florida Suns with a 6-7-1 record. Then you got the Fort Lauderdale Superstars with a 6-8-1 record, the Broward Bites with a 6-8-1 record as well. So we got a tie there. Then you got the Vipers with a 7-9 record, and then rounding out is the Tide with the 4-11 record. So, Antonio, we'll ask you this from two perspectives. First, just as a fan, just watching the league, as a whole, and then second off, as a coach who's in the thick of it. So, first of all, what have you been thinking of this season so far? Just seeing it in general.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you, Armani, for having me on today and doing this this interview before the All-Star break. We're obviously super excited in the league about all the things that are going on. So just as a whole, things that I'm excited that I've seen is the new locations that we've added, a couple of new sites. Charles Johnson Summer League played their first ever full game on a turf field. That was in Lauderdale, so it was super awesome. It was a really cool experience. I was actually part of not the first initial game, but I was part of the first group of games that was played at that turf field. So that addition has been awesome. It's a rainy summer here in Florida, so we're super excited about that. The weekends at Floyd Hall, you've been there, broadcasted a couple games there. It's a really cool spot, and it gives the guys something memorable to take from the summer other than just playing ball. So the introduction from some new locations has been great. A lot of new talent has joined the league, even after we previously met. Before the season, we've added to our roster. A couple of other teams have added to their roster, and it's just made a very talented group of guys battling out, during the summer. So other than that, it's just been fun to watch, guys battle it out day in, day out. It's a grind of summer baseball, and it's all been a really good experience so far this summer.
Now, as a coach in the league, obviously for the Cobras as well, you guys are currently the third seed. You guys are trying to make it back to the championship game. You guys made it last year. Unfortunately, you couldn't seal the deal. But how has the season gone for, specifically for you as a coach? And, this is year two for you as well. Last year was your inaugural year in the Charles Johnson Summer League. So what would you say are, things that you take it from last year that you've been able to apply this year? And more importantly, how have you seen the season evolve from when we started last month to now here, where we're only a couple weeks away from the playoffs beginning?
Well, I think the first thing I took was JoJo Mann from last year, and he's evolved into an all-star pitcher for us. 2.5 ERA. He started the most games, has the most innings, most strikeouts on the team for us. So he's been awesome. A couple of other things that we've taken is just the mindset that we're going to get back to the championship game. And it's helped us throughout the year. We've had some ups and downs. We won the first 5 games of the year, got off to a super hard start, and then we went frozen cold. We wound up losing the next 4 or 5, and we've been kind of sitting around that 500 mark, went on a 3-game winning streak, and then we just dropped our previous game to the Bums. So it's been up and down, but it's been overall really fun to watch the guys compete. And some games haven't gone our way, some games have. That's just baseball. But we feel really, really good about where we're at so far in the year.
Now, obviously, the league expanded. Now it's 8 teams this year compared to last year. How do you think the expansion of teams has really changed just the outcome of the season in terms of new players, seeing new faces, and potentially having to change up the strategy a bit?
Well, you said it perfectly. We're seeing a lot of new faces. There's guys that we didn't see last year that we have to study this year to know what their tendencies are if we're going to try to beat them. And it plays a big dynamic into the playoff picture. They've added teams. There's more opportunities down the line in the playoffs for a team to make a run, for a team to get hot. So it's added a new dynamic, and we've had to plan strategically accordingly to it to make sure that we're in a position towards the end of the year that we're ready to make a run.
So let's start talking a little more about specifically the All-Star game and, still coming out as to, which players are going to be selected, obviously by each team. You got to imagine that they're going to be rolling out soon. Obviously, the All-Star game is coming up just in a couple days, but obviously, I mentioned it earlier that you are actually in charge of selecting the All-Stars for the Fort Lauderdale Cobras. So, and I know you were even talking to JoJo, man, before we went on air about, potentially having him selected. So, can we get a little bit of insight maybe as to what goes into the selection of adding these players into the All-Star game?
Yeah, sure. So we did two things. The first thing that I did was I created a form for the guys, and I put every single player on there. For the fans that don't know, what happens is there is a criteria that each team has to meet to select their all-star players. So you get 2 outfield selections, you get 2 infield selections, 2 pitchers, and then 1 catcher if you're a top 4 team. So what we did is and we're one of those 4 teams. We're one of the top 4 seeds so far. So I created a Google Forms, and I put every player with their stats, some of their main stats, and I did a fan vote / player vote. Sent it out to the guys. I let them vote. If their friends and family want to vote as well, they did that, like that. And then once we got all the votes in, we got about 30 votes, which was awesome. So all of the players participated. They voted on for their teammates, and their friends and family did as well. Took those, looked it over, talked with my head coach, Coach Nino, and then with the fan vote and with our say, we made the final decision on the All-Stars. And I have those ready. Would you like to hear them?
Let's hear them.
Awesome.
Get a little bit of us. Get a little bit of an early preview from the
A
Fort
public
Lauderdale
announcement.
Cobras.
Sure, absolutely. So our All-Stars for this year, we're very proud to announce it's going to be Jaden Smith and Jason Moss in the outfield, Jaden Cummings and Luis Magnan in the infield, JoJo Mann and Madison Hunter for the pitchers, and then Lucas McCormick is going to be the catcher for the Fort Lauderdale Cobras in the game. So we're very proud of them, and we just want to congratulate them, Coach Nino and I, for all their hard work this year. All the guys have had all-star moments, but those were the guys we selected.
And that's one of the beauties about this league that I enjoy. Obviously, the both of us, we came on last year, and I joined a little later in the season towards the playoffs when I started, covering on the media side of things. But one of the things I really do like about this league is just how immersive it is. Like, it really does feel like, you got all-stars, you got the all-star game, multiple different venues. It's not like, maybe other leagues where you might think where, it's like, okay, it's kind of just here are the games, here are the playoffs, and then we go home. It really does feel like kind of a mini MLB, if you will, just with all the activities, the immersion. Obviously, we got CBO-TV. And I mean, that's major credit to Mario Signorello, obviously the CEO, Charles Johnson, whose name is who's named, the league is named after. That goes, that's the credit to all the people involved for really making this truly a league unlike any other.
Yeah, I agree. And, CJ is part of the name, but, Charles does more than just, put his name on the league. He's out there at games during the Friday fun days. He talks with the guys. He gives an insight as a former major leaguer, what it takes to be a major leaguer. So he's been really instrumental in the development of the league itself. But yeah, absolutely, I agree. It really does feel like a miniature professional league. You have guys that there's travel involved, guys coming on the team late, guys leaving, guys getting injured. Unfortunately, it's just part of the game. And we've kind of faced it all. And even as our team, we faced some adversity. We've had 2 pitchers go down with injuries, unfortunately. But that's part of the game. And I really do agree. It does feel like a mini season. the games being broadcast and all that. It's really, really a cool experience for the guys. And All-Star Weekend is definitely a testament to that, because last year was great, and this year we have a lot of fun stuff planned as well.
So let's talk about All-Star Week and All-Star Weekend. Let's cap this off by talking about really what All-Star Weekend is and the activities that go on and, just what it does for the Charles Johnson Summer League.
Yeah, so All-Star Week is probably one of the funnest weeks of the summer league. There's a lot of hype around it, a lot of buzz on social media. Like I said, we have guys voting for each other in our team. A lot of other teams did the same things, so it's a lot of excitement. And it's basically just the All-Star game is just a show of the best in the league, and it's a lot of fun. Last year, I was a part of the Futures game as a coach. This year, that's coming back as well, and we can talk about that in just a second. But the All-Star game it's a lot of fun. Pitchers, they throw an inning, 2 innings, guys get their at-bats in, people are moving, there's a bunch of moving parts, and it's just a really good day.
So let's talk about that Futures game. Go a little more in depth with that.
Yeah, so last year was, I believe, the first Futures game at Northeast High School. We're doing it again this year. And it's just a really cool experience for the guys that are uncommitted or looking to transfer. Basically what goes on, they'll get their arrival time in the morning. I don't know the exact time, but there's an arrival time in the morning. Guys will get to the field, they'll stretch out, then they're going to run the 60-yard dash. And then after that, they'll take a professional infield outfield. Then they'll take a pro-style batting practice, and then that's followed up by the game. So it's basically a pro workout before the game in front of college coaches and scouts, and then they play against each other in the Futures game. And guys try to get, scholarships or try to get seen by college coaches. It was super successful last year. I believe we had around 30 guys actually pick up a scholarship or were picked up by schools who participated in the Futures game. So it's a great opportunity for the guys who are looking for a school.
And what else can we expect, not just from the games, but from just All-Star Weekend as a whole?
Yeah, well, other than the pro workout and the 2 games, we also run our home run derby in between the Futures game and the All-Star game. So basically, it's a pro-style workout followed by the Futures game. And after the Futures game, the participant to the home run derby could take batting practice. And then around 3:30, 4 o'clock is when the home run derby is going to take place. It's going to be 1 participant from each team. So we'll have more participants this year. And it's a classic style. You have 10 outs. It's not the clock. So it's a classic home run derby, and players try to hit as many home runs as they can. The 2 semifinalists will move on to the final round, and then they try to win it. They battle it out to see who can hit the most home runs.
Well, good stuff. Good stuff. So that's our little preview of the All-Star Weekend here for the Charles Johnson Summer League. Antonio, I want to thank you for coming on and, giving us a little bit of insight, not just as a fan, but also as a coach for this league and what to expect. And obviously the official announcement as to who your team has selected, and congratulations to everyone there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Armani, for your time.
And thank you guys so much for, coming on. Thank you to all you guys for tuning in. Make sure to tune in this week. It's going to be on CBO-TV. I'll be in the booth. Hopefully Antonio will be in the booth sometime as well for the All-Star Weekend. Congratulations to everyone who has been selected, and we look forward to seeing all you guys out there. So we will see you guys in the next one.